Anson, the Registered Manager of St Catherine's Bungalows in Coleshill. We provide residential support to 16 adults that have very complex healthcare needs. Prior to using Docobo, when ambulance crews came out to emergency services, it might be that a resident had a seizure and was taking a while to recover or wasn't recovering in their usual way. They'd come out and they might take some readings of blood pressures and things like that. And they would very often ask staff members, is this normal for this person? Is this what's their baseline? And we wouldn't have that information because it wasn't something that we would take on a regular basis. Whereas using Docobo, it's something that is taken now on a regular basis and it's recorded. So we have got that information available and ready. And also staff recognise when a baseline has changed or if there is a difference within the monitoring that they're doing. So that's been one of the real positive things of using Docobo. When staff members were having to call doctors out of hours or use 111 service, very often you'd be talking to a clinician or a pharmacist or a GP that doesn't know the resident and hasn't got the history and the background of that resident. By using Docobo with the My Resident is Unwell question set, it goes through to the hub where you've got a triage team that are familiar and can see all of that information that's already been collected on the Docobo system for the resident, so they're able to make judgment on the information that they've got, or it may be that they've actually dealt with an incident or an issue with that resident before, so they've got the background information, which gives us confidence that they understand what it is that we're talking about and understand what it is that that resident needs. Residents have benefited from remote monitoring mainly through staff members being able to use equipment and get the residents to feel familiar and comfortable with having observations taken. Very often for a resident going into a GP surgery or going even to a hospital and having all of their observations taken can be quite scary, whereas now it's normal and it's part of everyday life. Generally, if a resident is feeling unwell, they're aware that their blood pressure may be taken. When we first started doing observations, some residents found it very, very difficult to accept having their blood pressure taken or having their SATs read. A lot of our residents, because they do have compromised postures, their internal organs can be in different places, lungs can have pressure on them from other organs. It may be that somebody's SATs aren't always around the same as what we would expect of a healthy adult, of being around about 98, 99, even 100%. Some of our residents' SATs may be around about 91. And for a staff member, understanding that when they are being asked questions by a clinician or being asked questions by a paramedic that might have been called out, they're able to say with confidence, this is normal for that resident. So this particular incident happened on a Sunday morning where the resident appeared to be quite unwell, showing signs that she had a chest infection. Ordinarily, before Docobo, we would have rang 111. And it takes a long, long time for 111 to be able to respond. Sometimes you can be waiting for 12 hours for a call back, which is vital time for that resident to deteriorate. It's a time where that resident would have deteriorated. The staff members put it through Docobo. There's a question set on there of My Resident is Unwell, and that went through to the triage team. That went through around about 11:30 on the Sunday morning, and at 2:30 I was picking the antibiotics up from a local chemist to ensure that she could get that treatment. If we hadn't have been able to obtain those antibiotics, it would have been quite likely that she would have ended up being admitted into hospital the following day, or possibly even waiting another day to see a GP. We used to see GPs at the service nearly every day for one reason or another. Since using remote monitoring, that has greatly reduced. So a lot of the initial things that we needed to speak to a GP about can be dealt with through the Docobo system and the triage hub, which then takes the pressure off GPs and frees up appointments for the people that might need them for more serious conditions. If there are any other care homes that are considering using remote monitoring, what I would say to them is see if you can team up with another care home, go and have a look at their system and how they use it, see what feedback they get, what feedback that they give you. I'd say embrace it. We've certainly seen the benefits of using it. It's something that we will continue to use. So yeah, I'd say go with it.